Peace. Let me check, make sure I got my audio. Mic check, mic check, mic check. I think so. Whomever is watching, peace. We're going to go on and get started. So this is called The Mysteries of Virgo and the Magic of Suffering. We're just going to get right on into it. For background, I'm going to reference one of the handouts that I offer on my website. What's up, Damon? Appreciate it, good brother. This is called Hidden Astrological Etymology and Symbology. Let me bring it in focus. I have on my website, mastersofthecosmos.com, I have 5 handouts that I produced last year. And tell you what, I'm gonna type this in the chat. My website, mastersofthecosmos.com. And when you click on the go right to the home page, you'll see I got a bundle up there, and this is included in it, this handout. So I want to read something for background for this discussion. On here, I took the different, what's up, Brianna? Peace to you and the family. I broke down the different sun symbols, or the different the 12 signs of the zodiac, basically, okay, from an etymological standpoint. And for Virgo, this is what I've got. Virgo, the Virgin, as Mary the Virgin, also represented as Mania, as in the moon, as Maya, the mother of Mercury, who is the Logos, the word that in the beginning was God and that also was a God, the Master Mason, the mother of the Logos, by whom all things were made, being eternal, he who descends into body and flesh, taking the appearance of man. In Hebrew and Arabic, Maria is a female beeve or cow, linking her to the yak and ox, as in the aleph. Now, within that little description is quite a bit, okay? So I took some notes. The first thing I want you to take notice of is that the word virgin basically refers to being pure, not necessarily what we, our connotative understanding of things. We say virgin is somebody who hasn't had sex, but that's not really what it means. It means pure, okay? Mary comes from the root mag, M-A-G-H. Mag means power. Mag is also the root of the word magic. Mary and magic are synonymous and they mean power. So the Virgin Mary means pure power. Okay? Now, in this little description I read, it says that Mary the Virgin is also represented as mania. And you see in mania, the two consonants are M and N, mun. Whenever we have mun, it partially references the moon. Okay? Even man, still just the overarching title of man still refers back to the moon. Okay. Second thing, Virgo is also Maya, the mother of Mercury, who is the Logos, the word that in the beginning was God, and that was also a God. So now we see Mercury being compared with the Christ figure, okay, which makes a lot of sense. In astrology, it is said that Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, that Mercury co-rules Virgo and Gemini. This little selection here begs us to reinterpret or reconsider. What's up, Dap Dunlap? Dap Dunlap music in the house. Um, it begs us to reconsider what that means when we refer to Mercury as the ruler. In one way, it is correct that Mercury is the ruler, and in another way, it's not. I'll explain. Virgo is the ultimate sign, along with the moon, of nurturing, just in Virgo being associated with the Virgin Mary. Now, when a mother has the gestating child, or the mother's bearing a child, her body will strip vital nutrients from the mother to make sure, and I mentioned this just a while ago on another live, now I'll reiterate it. The mother, her body innately will take nutrients from itself to make sure that the gestating child has what it needs. That's why a lot of times the mother's teeth will, she'll have dental problems. It's possible for a woman to have dental problems, amongst other things, during while she's bearing a child, during pregnancy. Because if the baby needs more calcium, guess where it's going to take it from? The mother. And that aspect, that's the equivalent of Mercury ruling Virgo, because Mercury is going to pull what is necessary from Virgo. So then you want to look at the attributes associated with Virgo, and you'll see how Mercury is pulling those from her to enhance itself. All right. So in that sense, it's the ruler. In the other sense, is not the ruler, because Mercury is the child of the Virgin Mother. So in essence, she's the master builder, because she builds the body of Mercury. She provides the raw ingredients for Mercury to be Mercury. So in that sense, he is not the ruler. He is the child of the goddess, or of the Virgin, as in the Virgin Mary. Okay, that with that established, we also said, it says again that the Virgin Mary, or Virgo, is associated with the moon. Now, if we look at natural signs in astrology, the natural house of Virgo is the 6th house. Okay, but the moon's natural house is the 4th house. So now, through this description that's given, there's a correlation in the chart between the 6th house and the 4th house, between Virgo and Cancer. And it makes sense because those houses are 60 degrees apart from each other, making them sextile. That means that's a harmonious relationship. The sextile relationship itself is Venusian. The sextile 60-degree angle between planets is considered to be Venusian, or like Venus, meaning there is a harmonious relationship, because Venus is associated with Libra and Taurus, but from a Libran standpoint, it's relationships. Okay? Keep that in mind. We're going to come back. Another point in this little breakdown, it said that in Arabic and Hebrew, Maria, which is another expression of Mary, actually it would be medium, but it says it's associated with the female cow, as in the beeve, and that is spelled B-E-E-V-E, B-E-E-V-E. If you break that apart, you got B, Eve, B-E separate, E-V-E, Eve, B, Eve. The word B means essence. That's broken down in another one of the handouts that I have. This is called the Esoteric Exploration of Fire. Okay? And this one breaks down what Eve, her name, really means. And so when it says be Eve, it's basically saying fire. The B is an essence. Whenever you see a B or the word what or the word is, it means fire, because fire refers to the essence. Okay? And Eve refers to life, but Eve is also referencing the zero. Okay? How? This is part of the bundle too, right here. This booklet I put together last year. It's called 2020 and the World to Come. What is the meaning of life? Okay? And really, this is almost like the biography of Eve, in many regards. I want to read something from this section. This section is called The Revelations of Eve and the Mysteries of Life. We now use the Arabic word for zero, sifr, to reveal even more mysteries about Eve. By using the root of sifr, S-F-R, sifr holds the same value as the word suffer. Notice you got the same basic root consonants, S-F-R. Only difference is suffer has two F's, but I don't think that's enough to disregard it as being relatable to cipher, suffer. Okay? As you'll find further expounded on in the numerology section, suffer derives from the Indo-European root bear, B-H-E-R, meaning carry, bear, bring. Now, what we have now is a correlation between the Virgin Mary, the moon, and Eve. Okay? Because Eve is associated with Sifr. Okay? Sifr comes from the word bear, which means to carry. The Virgin Mary carries the Logos. Okay? She carries the divine essence. All right. Then I said, this leads us to deduce that Eve agrees to suffer through becoming. And this is based on the story in Genesis, and not even considering all the texts that were yanked out the Bible. But the Gnostic texts, if we incorporate them, they will support this thesis that what I'm about to read, okay, and discuss. This leads us to deduce that Eve agrees to suffer through becoming, through existing, through living in restricted states. That's the tree of life, the Kabbalah. Each Sephirah or Sephirith, notice we got that Sephir again. Sephirith, what's up, wise feminine? The Sephirith are called emanations. Again, those are all representations of Eve, because each emanation is called a state. I just read, through living in restricted states. The contract is outlined in Genesis 3:14 through 16. And the Lord said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Notice the word above. The serpent represents wisdom. Curse means run through. Wisdom shall put you above every beast. See, the teaching of this gives us a reverse understanding of what this is saying, but just looking at it bare bones and understanding what the words mean, it's not really maybe what we think. Curse just means to run through. Why not beneath the cattle? It says cursed above the cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go. Belly. Snake already crawls on his belly because it's not referring to actually just a snake, a literal snake. It's the phallus. The phallus means belly. And a belly is something that can swell. If it can swell, then it can bear. If it's swelling, it means it's bearing something. It's holding something, referring to the light. Okay? Thou shalt thou eat all the days of thy earth. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise its heel. That's the zodiac. If you ever look at the old pictures of the zodiac wheel, you see Aries is touching the feet of Pisces. It says, and thy seed, thou shalt bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. That's the zodiac wheel. Eve is the zodiac. The zodiac is the plane of suffering. Okay? But maybe not from the sense that we typically think of the word suffering. Okay? Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conceptions. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Okay? Now, over thee, let me explain that too, so this doesn't get lost in confusion. Over means the masculine. When you look at a chart, the 10th house and the 4th house create a vertical axis. Okay, the 10th house would be the pinnacle of the objective axis. The 4th house would be the depth, the greatest depth of the subjective pole or reality. To rule over means the objective world. It means the exoteric, the expressive. She would be under the husband because she's subconscious. She naturally evolves from the world of the subconscious, the subjective, the intuitive. That's what that means. Okay? So now we take all that and apply it. And if you're still wondering, well, how does Eve come back related to zero? Because Eve in Hebrew traces back to zero. And if zero is cipher, and she suffers, suffer means to bear, then we see all these characters now are starting to come together as one story. Just different expressions of one story. So with that in mind, we now have to consider that since the 4th house of the moon, the 6th house of Virgo coincide and they have a harmonious relationship, we're now adding in a third piece, Venus. Venus, because she rules over relationships. So now the natural house associated with relationships, or should I say with love, the other aspect of Venus, what is valued is the second house. Okay, if you look at the wheel, and let me clarify that. Venus is Libra, rules Libra, or is associated with Libra. She's also associated with Taurus. Okay? She is expressed in the harmonious relationship, the sextile between the fourth house and the sixth house, the moon, the moon's house, and Virgo, Cancer and Virgo. Now, her action is love. Her action is value. Her action is the grounding of resources, which would be her number one resource is her child. Okay. And that child does not just represent the logos, it represents the light. Okay. When you look at the word light, it traces back to Aleph. All right. In Hebrew, Aleph means the ox head. Aleph also refers to the yak. That's why Jacob is Yakub. So now that's not just there for nothing. The yak, the Aleph, as in the ox, the cow, which Mary is associated, we said earlier, Mary is associated with the beeve, which is the cow. What do all those have in common? They're part of the bovine family. So that means by us knowing that Mary is associated with the cow, part of the bovine family, she's also associated with Eve. Okay, this also explains why we bring in the second house, which is the Taurus house, because what's the symbol associated with Taurus? The bull, another member of the bovine family. So now what we got is 2, 4, 6. We've got Venus, and in Taurus, she's the evening star. She's not ready. She's not for war. She's for love. Okay. Then we have another feminine representation of the mother. What's up, Amina? What's up, Yoel? I'm not sure ancient Hebrew that they can find knew of the concept zero. You don't have to know of the concept zero. It's not known. It doesn't have to be known to be. The zero has always been, because there's nothing. If there is no zero, there's nothing else. Because it's nothing. It's no thing. Okay. Venus is second, love. The moon is fourth. Virgo is sixth. What do all these have in common? Well, for one, they are all in the subjective realm. In the chart, they are all in the underworld, the intuitive world, the dark, okay, at night. That's one thing. And I put these notes here when I just looked at each one. Well, let me say this first. The moon, the breast, okay? Virgo, the stomach or intestines. Taurus, the throat. What do those have in common? I want to read something. I want to read something. Ezekiel Ezekiel 3 and 14. I'm going to do this. We're going to wrap this up real quick. Ezekiel 3, chapter 3, 1 through 4. Okay. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, till thou bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. Pretty much we've covered everything that I've said is in this little passage. There's a reference to food or manna being offered, right? And then that word manna, we said that the Virgo is associated with mania, as in the moon. Well, the same root in moon is present in manna, M-N, mun, manna, okay? So manna, as in food, is being presented. That is the moon, because the moon is associated with the breast. And if we think about a infant child, the child suckling at the mother's breast, okay, that's the manna, moon. We see the need to open the mouth to receive, which means then it's going to have to go through the throat, Taurus. And then once it passes through the throat, Taurus, it is going to go to it says in here, the bowels. That's loosely referencing the digestive system, Virgo. Second, the fourth, and the sixth houses, okay? And all of those have a harmonious relationship. Earth, water, earth. Cancer, the moon, serving as the midpoint between the trine energies of Taurus and Virgo. All right. The moon, emotion. Taurus, love, value. Virgo, suffering. The moon, experience. Taurus, the understanding. Moon, the trip. Why would I say, I'm sorry, Virgo, the trip. The moon, the experience. The experience creates an emotion. Taurus, slow, not very active, sitting still, finding the beauty in it all, the value in it all. Virgo, the journey, the trip. Now, why would that be the trip? Because Virgo is the mother. And remember, we said she suffers for that child. Well, in Swahili, the word for travel is safari. That's the word for travel in Swahili. Now, again, what we have is same root, suffer. We have the same root, suffer, safari, S-A-F-A-R-I. Remove all the vowels. You have S-F-R, suffer. The suffering of the mother is the journey. The work is for the journey. the work associated with suffering. Both two motifs that are, those are two words that can associated with the sixth house, Virgo's house. The work, the suffering, the sacrifice, the cycles, associated with Virgo. And whether you are a man or a woman, you can't bypass this. It's part of our reality. What I'm trying to get at is that, in a sense, Virgo is the last house of I. You got to think Virgo started out as complete I identification. Aries, ego. I am. That's Aries. And Aries goes through this maturation phase. The goal is not to lose my I amness, my identity, but to mature it, to grow it, to cultivate it. And Virgo is almost the antithesis of the origin in I am. But in essence, it's really not, because it is the end of that singularity of just me, because it does the work, it sacrifices, it toils, it then prepares for, again, another Venus expression, relationships. Now, we can glean a lot from this. I can glean a lot, because just because I'm on here talking about this does not mean that everything's hunky-dory, I got everything figured out. But it is good to have moments of clarity for those times in our lives when we feel like we're getting shitted on. You know what I mean? And first, it is pleasant to know that the whole zodiac is suffering itself, because the zodiac is Eve. Zodiac means life. Eve means life, also means the zero. In Hebrew, the number one, the representation of one, is an adjective. The numbers 2 through 10 are nouns. So the language, everything's symbolic in the language. So that means the one modifies, because an adjective modifies, okay, the states 2 through 10. That's why the Kabbalah, those are states. They are being modified by the one. But the one comes about through an action. A verb is an action. Zero, which is Eve, is action. Her movement is suffering itself. Her movement is the suffering. And that's what the zodiac is. The wheel keeps moving. It keeps moving. She is the author of suffering, and she's the one who is suffering. We are suffering through her. But we're not just like some sadistic Satan masochism. We are traveling. And that's the secret of what the usage of Safari and Swahili and Arabic. The word safar is, I'm probably saying it wrong. In Arabic is a word for travel. So it coincides with the Swahili. They say safari. In Arabic is safar or safar. Travel. And what really made me thought to bring all this up, because I did a chart and I mentioned something about which I should not have done without really clarifying that there was some type of suffering relative to the sixth house. And I should have clarified that, because The way we're conditioned in our world, in this society, when you hear the word suffer, you think, oh God, man, here we go. Haven't I suffered enough already? All this little stuff I'm talking about is I'm trying to demonstrate and put things in perspective to say, what if we change the connotative idea of suffering to a more denotative of it's bearing something, and not so much as in something's weighing down on me, but if you just change and say I'm bearing something as in I'm carrying some light. I'm about to give birth to something magnificent. And that in itself denotes a form of travel. Something's traveling through me that's about to come into the world. I am traveling. I'm on a journey. Or as the Sufis say, I'm on the path, or I'm on the way. There's another SF word, Suf. I'm on the way. What else do I want to say about that? I think that's it. That's enough. That's enough. Just something to kick around in your mind, because everybody's going through their own form of some type of connotative suffering, as in their own form of shit ain't right, you know? And to keep your sanity, it's valuable, Venus word, valuable, to be able to look at the bigger picture. That when the energy eases up some and you're able to get out the fight and kind of lick your wounds and reflect a bit, this is a way to recharge your battery, so that when the storm rages again, then you have this in the back of your mind, like, I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. You know, if you are remotely a goal oriented person, sometimes the worst feeling is feeling stuck. Saturn, stuck, stay, still. So there's so many layers and things that can be learned in this science, is what I'm seeing. And it's a masterful design. And the more we probe it, it rewards us by giving us nuggets to help us endure this reality, so that we can transcend this reality. And when I say that word transcend, isn't it funny that directly across the wheel is the house of transcendence? And that in itself kind of summarizes the value of the journey of the sixth house. The sixth house is doing the work that is going to lead to the final stage of transcendence. And even when you look at these houses next to each other, sometimes they seem to contradict, but in the contradiction, there is preparation. Like I'm in Aquarius sun, but some kind of way I'm able to, I get Capricorn people. I get them, you know? Although in essence, we ain't alike in a lot of ways, but we are. And that's the paradox in this thing. This thing is so divinely put together. Even in the paradox, there is similarity. And you can't give no understanding of that. It just is. So that's all I got. I invite you, go over and visit my site, mastersofthecosmos.com. I have all types of stuff over there. I got a bundle over there with all these different handouts, and I'm going to be doing these videos like this to show you how the people who purchase these handouts, what are they really saying? What are they really trying to show? Um, is it just a bunch of information? No, it's not. I am constantly looking for synchronicity in things. I'm constantly looking for a through line in things. And I'll be scholastically generous about things because I operate from a basic mindset that everything is everything. That when the Kabbalion says the mind is all and all is mental, I take it literally that if I dig deep enough in things, I can find the through line in it all. I think that's one of the things that makes my chart reading ability proficient is, again, looking at these three houses. Virgo, I'm very detail oriented. I'm a perfectionist. Fourth house, Cancer. I do give a damn about people. I might not always want to be bothered, but at the core of me, I give a damn about people, and I don't set out to fleece people. Second house, I value my efforts. I value what I'm doing. So if you are dealing with somebody who values what they're doing, meaning that they actually give a damn, they care about what they're doing. They have an innate care for people or souls, and they're very detail oriented. Probably gonna get you a pretty damn good chart reading. And I'm gonna post up some of the I'm gonna post up a couple of reviews soon. I just did a reading for a family of 6, husband, wife, 4 children, and it was just amazing. Not that I was amazing, the science is amazing. I'll conclude on this. It's something I wrote. I wrote this on August 13th, 2020. I don't know what the hell was going on. And I don't know if I got this from somewhere or what. So if anybody's familiar with this, let me know. But I don't know where I got it from. I don't know if I came up with it, if I heard it somewhere. Resilience is not about being indestructible. It's about being able to respond. And if that ain't some Virgo shit, if that is not magical, resilience is not about being indestructible. It's about being able to respond. And it reminds me of what my high school football coach would say. He said, I'm not concerned with you all getting out of breath or getting tired. I'm more concerned about how fast you recover. And to me, these two things, salute, MJ. This, to me, this little quote echoes the same sentiment. Resilience is not about being indestructible. It's about being able to respond. Final thing. When I'm training, when I was really training people for bodybuilding and fitness competitions, I had this saying. I would tell them, don't worry about getting in shape, because you're going to get in shape with me training you. I said what it's going to come down to is your intestinal fortitude. And that's not my original statement. I got that from my old mentor and trainer, a man named Herman Steele. And Herman would say, "Hey, Big Daddy, it's going to come down to your intestinal fortitude." And the secret to bodybuilding is this. The person, or one of the secrets is that the person who can endure the most suffering is going to look the best on the stage on competition day. That means I don't feel like doing my cardio. I have no energy. I'm falling asleep at the red light. You know what I'm saying? But I still gotta carry on. I'm sitting here. My kids want some ice cream. I gotta watch them sit and eat ice cream, and I gotta eat this dry asparagus and fish with no salt on it. I gotta carry on because I know this suffering is going to pay off. You know what I mean? So that's what he meant by your intestinal fortitude. Your will. There's a lot to do with willpower in Virgo's house. You know, because she's the mother. So the willpower is associated with the sun. But who gives birth to the son? The mother. Again, it's her. All those attributes, being fast, smart, intelligent, strong, willpower, is her. Your intestinal fortitude. So all of us are being encouraged to tap into that today. If you want to get a reading, go over mastersofthecosmos.com, click on birth chart readings, click on the homepage, get the bundle. Everything is everything. I appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, stay down till you get up. And when you get up, stay down. Peace. What's up, Flex? Okay, before I go, being dedicated to lifting recently, the feeling of not having the energy to do and finish reps comes and is real. But that's the real work, mentally and physically. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That sums it up. Peace, y'all.